It's so exciting what's happening in the world of online marketing for local businesses right now. There are so many people who need your help, and you can make a ton of money in the process. I'm Lee Blue, I'm the founder of DoubleStack, and I wanted you to hear straight from Dave. He's one of the double stackers in my program because he's got some wild stuff going on. He just landed 7 clients in the last 9 days. So I wanted to know, what does that mean financially for you if you land 7 clients in 9 days? So I asked him.
It sounds like at least $30,000 of annual growth right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, easy.
Okay, so what does that mean you're actually putting in the bank though? Like what's your annual income with that?
I'm probably looking at 250,000 this year.
But why are people willing to pay these rates?
When I go in and actually implement the system that we're taught in DoubleStack, it goes from here to here.
I talk to web designers all day long, every day, all over the country, and I know not everybody's experiencing results like this. In fact, some people say, Lee, web design is dead. But don't say that. Don't say it's not dead at all. There's just been a positional shift. So if you're not seeing results like this, you probably haven't made the shift yet. The shift is we're moving away from just building stuff for people into doing stuff for people. Listen to what Dave has to say about that.
I'm trying to come up with a solution to their problem. I already kind of know what their problem is. Most local businesses want more leads. So it's just figuring out, like, come up with a system. And we have come up with a system in DoubleStack. We call it the Local Authority Blueprint. And it's just implementing that system. And that's what gets the phone ringing for them. And it keeps the clients happy, which means they stay working with you.
Well, Dave must be some kind of elite web designer with amazing design skills, right? Like, how else would he be able to pull all of that off?
Because a lot of people watching this who are web designers are probably better web designers than you and I.
Yeah,
like
so.
they might be like unbelievable. And I see that sometimes in DoubleStack. I'm like, my gosh, these websites are amazing. But they didn't have the other pieces that made everything work. And so it's an uphill battle. Even if you're the best web designer, you need a system and you need to give people what they really want, which is they need more clients. They need the calls to come in.
We're going to dive into all of the details, like what stuff is Dave actually doing and who's he working with and who does he not want to be working with and how does he get leads and what does he say when he reaches out to people and what's his overhead? Like, how much money does he have to spend in order to make this kind of revenue? And you got to stay for the end where we talk about the impact, not just the impact in his own business, but what is he seeing in his clients' businesses and how is that spilling out into the community? Like, if you don't get anything else from this conversation, I at least let it shed some light on just how badly local business owners need you right now. All right, let's go.
Can you sort of like shed some light on what in the world you're actually doing that kind of creates that system, or like what is like what I'm trying to point out is like, I know that we don't have like some kind of secret magic sauce that no one's ever heard of, some tool that no one's ever used before except for us. We're still using like normal stuff like websites, Facebook pages, Google Business Profile and stuff. But like, what is the like why would somebody want to work with you? Like tell me what is the system? Like, what are you actually doing day to day?
Yeah, so like once I get a client onboarded and I build out the system that we were talking about with the Local Authority Blueprint, then it's just a matter of, I basically look at what's called the GeoGrid. I run a GeoGrid for each client, and I do that probably every 2 weeks. And that's data that's coming directly from their Google Business Profile. And it basically is like the health of their GMB. Because my focus for me in the last, 2 years or so, it's been getting my clients into the map pack, which is those 3 businesses that are listed at the very top of Google's first page. And the GeoGrid is basically a visual representation of how well they are. And let me actually, do you mind if I share my screen and I'll show you?
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I don't know if everybody knows what a GeoGrid is. We talk about it so much, it's easy for us to visualize, but Rick, you could share one.
So do you see this?
Yeah, there we go. Okay.
So
cool. What do we see? What are these dots? Talk about that.
So these circles, each circle is a spot right on the map. And all those circles together represent, let's say, somebody's service area. So this one right here is for a local plumber. And typically their address, their business address, is dead center in the middle of the GeoGrid. And when you see red, that means... And you can see there, I don't know if you could see it, but there's little numbers on here. And 20 plus, that means that they're at least 20th position in Google Maps, like on Google Maps when somebody searches for like a local plumber. And so when I go in and actually implement the system that we're taught in DoubleStack, it goes from here to here. And that was in 45 days. So now when you see ones, or you see green really, but one means you're in the first position. Any green, there are a couple twos and threes in here. That means you're in the map pack if you're in the green. And there's a few here I still have to work on. There's some in the yellow, but it's basically almost all green. Same thing with this
Hold
one.
on a second. Before you jump to the next one, 45 days.
Yes.
That's like 6 weeks, not 6 months.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah. And I'm so confident with this now that I have a map pack guarantee. If I can't get them into the map pack within 90 days, I work with them for free until they're there. And that's a pretty bold guarantee because I could lose money, but I have yet to lose money because I'm implementing the system. So I know that it works. And yeah, it's consistent. It's consistent. And same thing with this one here. And then this was a little bit faster. This was 30 days.
30 days. So that was a house cleaning business in 30 days. Is there anything that you look at to that might be like, well, yeah, I could definitely do it, or this is going to be harder than another type of business, or like, do you sort of like pre-qualify the kinds of businesses that you work with to make sure that's going to work, or like, how do you determine that?
Well, I specialize in working with home service contractors.
Okay.
So, like I won't work, occasionally I'll work with other local businesses. They have to be local businesses that sell a service. If they sell products, it's not really a great fit because product type businesses aren't typically on Google My Business, or they're not basically like focusing too much on, that's not where they get their leads. But yeah, it really all depends on, that's why I give it a 90-day map pack guarantee, because it all depends on how many competitors are in the marketplace.
Okay.
So if you're working with, let's say like a house cleaning business, but they're in Manhattan, they're in New York City, which I am working with somebody there. And that's going to take a lot longer because there are, especially for house cleaning, there are a ton of those businesses there. So there's only 3 spots in the map pack, right? And you've got 1,000 competitors, and all of them are going after those 3 spots. So you have to really take your time. I mean, you can go as fast as you want, but Google is going to take their time to rank them. So I don't think there's any real criteria for me anyway. It's more, are they a local business? Do they have an address listed on their Google business profile? If they don't, they have to add it. I will add it for them. If they're not willing to do that, I'm very reluctant to work with them, simply because it takes about 4 times as much effort on my part, which means 4 times as much money on their part. So it's as easy as adding an address and then, because Google Maps owns the Google Business Profile Network, right? And they love to drop a pin on that map. And if that pin isn't there, it almost feels like they don't treat you like a legitimate business, which is kind of crazy because, like, if you're a local plumber and I was calling up a local plumber, I wouldn't be bringing my toilet to the plumber's location, right? So they're coming to me, but for some reason, Google, in their mind, they want that address listed. So I think that's really the only criteria. And they have to, I mean, if somebody reaches out to me and they have like 50 reviews and it's 2.2 star rating, there's only so much I can do. I might get you into the map pack, but you're not going to get any calls because people are looking at that and saying, well, you don't have any social proof. So, but yeah, I'm pretty flexible with working with the local, just so that they're local home service businesses. I usually can get them to rank pretty quickly.
Okay, so like a legit business with an address, full-time usually, not just a weekend side hustle.
Yeah.
And that they haven't already ruined the reputation with terrible reviews.
Right.
And then okay, so that's basically everybody, it sounds like. So then the question was, so how do you get connected with these people, right? So a lot of people ask me, like, man, I don't know how to get the leads. Where do you find the leads? It's some kind of magic sauce that you have. So I know that I talk a lot about local legends on the YouTube channel and everything. So I think people are kind of familiar with the idea of what that is, that small favor marketing idea. How is that playing out for you? Like, what is your experience with local legends?
Yeah, so local legends is the main driver of the leads because it's small favor marketing. I'm basically saying, I'm not reaching out to people and saying, hey, I want to sell you this. You want to buy a website? You want to buy this? Yeah. You want to buy my AI phone agent? You hear that all the time. No, I'm saying, hey, I've been following your business. I'd love to feature you on our community website. And let me tell you why. And people are like, oh, so you're going to introduce me to the entire town for free? Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
down. Yeah, I'll send me your calendar link. And I'm giving them exactly what I'm not, I'm not switching things out. They get on the call and I'm like, oh, I was just kidding. Here, do you want to buy a website? No, no, no. I'm basically saying, hey, look, I'm going to do all this work for you. I'm going to feature you. If, and I'm also going to tell you, like, if I see something that maybe could improve your business, I'm gonna give you some tips and tricks. And when you're having this conversation, you get to know the other business owner. And
Mhm.
because I'm doing research ahead of time, because I'm building out a listing for them, I get a good understanding. I'm like, oh wow, they've got this many reviews, but you know what? Their Google Business Profile isn't really serving them right now, and their website, yeah, it might look nice, but it's not helping them get more traffic or leads, or it's not ranking at all. So I'm going to tell them what I would do if I was in their shoes. So I'm going to show them their listing. We're going to go through, make sure all the information is correct. And I'm going to tell them, hey, look, I was looking at your Google Business Profile. I was looking at your website. Let me tell you what I would do if I was in your situation, because you had mentioned to me, because I always ask them beforehand, like, where are you right now in your business?
Mhm.
Where do you want to go? And what do you think is holding you back?
Mhm.
And with that information, now I can kind of tailor, and I basically explain to them without selling them. I just give them advice. But the
Right.
advice is, hey, we need this, we need this. Here are the tools we use. We call those lead engines, and there's 4 of them, and we turn those on, and this is what happens. And a lot of times I'll show them examples of current clients of mine that, like you saw with the GeoGrid. Okay, this is where they were. This is look at what their website looks like. Look, this is the reason why they're ranking. It's because of this, this, and this. So, yeah, so the local legends is a big thing. Also, going out to in-person networking groups
Mhm.
is really important. Face-to-face is important. And then I use cold email as well. So
Mhm.
I'm reaching out to cold, but I'm not selling them on websites or digital marketing. I'm asking them if I could feature them on my local legends website. That's all I'm doing. I'm not saying, hey, I want to sell you anything. And guess what? Some people aren't, like, they're fine with where they are, or maybe they have a marketing guy already or girl already that's doing a good job. Fine, I'd still like to feature you because I want my local community to find the best of the best businesses around here. So it's a win no matter what. If they become a client, great. If not, it's still okay.
So
So
it sounds like whether it's sending out cold email, going meeting people face to face, just one off, like I just happened to bump into you somewhere. It sounds like
mhm.
local legends is the starting point for all of those outreach efforts. Is that right?
Yeah, and then what happens is, and this is what's happened to me, is now you start getting referrals
Right.
from the people, even if they didn't work. I've had a couple referrals from businesses that I featured on my local legends. They didn't need any help, but they wound up referring other local businesses to me, and then they became clients. So it's really powerful because you're honestly not trying to sell them anything. You're just giving them helpful advice. And if they're interested, a lot of people are interested, because why would they be on the phone with you? Why would they want to be featured? They want more eyeballs on their business, right? So we're going to do that with our local legends, but then there's other stuff we could do that really ramps up the amount of visibility you get online. So,
That's awesome. So it sounds like that solves the lead generation problem, which I think is probably the biggest sticking point for a lot of people. In fact, I'll even
mhm,
add to what you just said too, because I do a lot of this stuff myself. And I remember the first time I launched the local legend site and everything, I started using it. I reached out to this lady, it was like an esthetician, like the makeup
mhm,
person. And she was having like this, the timing was perfect. Like she was like really
mhm,
struggling with her Google profile, and she couldn't change the address, and she couldn't get the thing verified. Like she was just she was super stressed out and wasn't super technical to begin with.
mhm,
And she was like almost in tears of
mhm,
joy that I just happened to reach out to her. And so we
mhm,
do the whole thing, spotlight her business, everything. She's like, my daughter runs a salon right next door. I do all the makeup stuff, and she does like the hair and the other beauty stuff.
mhm,
You've got to talk to her. Can I send her your way as well? And so,
mhm.
like you were just saying, it's like sometimes it's the person that you're talking to, like they don't really need anything because they've already got an agency working with them, but they
Mhm.
refer you to someone. And sometimes
Yes.
it's a double win. It sounds like you work with
Mhm.
the person and they refer you to something
Right.
because they're like, this is great. And I was talking
Yeah.
to Paul earlier, Paul from
Mhm.
DoubleStack.
Yeah.
Like he has these situations where people are so happy that he's local You know, like a lot of
Hmm.
times people will reach out and they feel like you're just across the country or some international
Hmm.
business, remote only kind of stuff. And
Right.
then you can see people's demeanor just change like on a dime. Oh, you're
Right.
local? Because you wouldn't have said that the farmer's market was down the street if you didn't live here.
Hmm.
Like, how would you know that? I didn't realize you're
Right.
here. And
Yeah.
then suddenly you're like best friends. It's like
Yeah.
it really builds the relationship, which is awesome.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's an advantage too to work with local businesses because, like, I just had a call today, a client interview, and she is struggling with her Google Business Profile, and I said we have to add an address, and she said, well, will that make me go into re-verification? I said, yes, probably like 90% chance it will. However, if worse comes to worse, I can just drive to your location and I'll help you do the video verification because she's only like 10-15 minutes from me. Oh, would you do that? Now, how could I do that if I have a client? I mean, I have clients all over the country, and I usually have to do like a video tutorial to show them how to
Yeah.
do this stuff. But I'm like, I can get in my car and drive 10 minutes away and I could do this for her. Guess what's going to happen with her? She's not only is she going to get verified, but then she's going to, when she hears anybody that needs any type of services like what I'm offering, she's going to be my biggest advocate.
Oh, totally.
So, yeah, so it's really like I think a lot of web designers or anyone in digital marketing space, they think, well, I can live anywhere. I can work from anywhere, which is a huge advantage of what we do. But you're not going to live on a beach your whole life. Yeah, take a vacation, fine. But when you want to get down to business, you've got to be face to face with the local people. And they would prefer somebody local versus somebody even like half a state away. But when you can go and meet them for coffee or you meet them at the local networking group, there's something that changes when they get to know, like, and trust you in person.
Yeah.
Then yeah, it's total game changer.
Yeah, well,
So
I know one of the things that people will say is, "Well, how am I going to get enough clients locally?" And that, so I want to transition a little bit into like your pricing and like what does this mean financially for you?
yeah,
Because the way that we're doing stuff in DoubleStack, we're not selling $100 websites. Like the cheapest
no,
client we have is paying like $5,000 per year. It's like
hmm
the default three packages we have are 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. And
hmm
in fact, I say this all the time, but I like mail out this trophy when you get like a
hmm
$10,000 client. It's like the $10,000 trophy award.
yep,
So like, so okay, so you got 7 clients, you just onboarded. Like, and in fact, I think you and I were talking once before. I can't remember if I was just talking about you or you were with me. But you have these months where you like bring on like $30,000 or $40,000 of new annual revenue in just 1 month, and then here you
hmm
are landing 7 clients. Like,
hmm
what is this like? Can you sort of give us like a picture of what does this mean financially for your business, especially like compared to the way you were doing it prior to all the local legends and the local authority blueprint and everything? Like, what
right.
is the difference financially kind of before and after?
Oh yeah, it's night and day. I mean, with the way I was doing it before, I think I had told you this before I joined DoubleStack. I I thought to myself, okay, I want to make X amount of dollars per month. How am I going to do that? Okay, well, after I get the client, and then what am I selling them afterwards? Hosting, managed hosting. And at the
Yeah.
time, I was charging $50 a month for managed hosting. And I'm thinking, okay, let me do the math here. I need to have so many clients to reach just, I think I was like, the goal initially was like $6,000 a month. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to take me forever to do this. And again, if you're trying to sell websites where it's harder and harder to do that, you're never going to get there. And so it went from that to, like you said, the lowest package is $5,000 per year. And then the highest could be higher than 20,000 if you add on like for Google Ads, if I'm
True.
offering other stuff, or if they really want like a lot of like heavy duty local SEO, then it's going to be more expensive. But from that to like every month, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't have to take on any more clients right now. Like I literally don't have to. I want to, not so much for the money, to be honest with you. It's more of the thrill I get in getting a text message from a client that I might have started working with 6 weeks ago. And he's like, oh my gosh, I just got this big client off of my Google business profile. I've never gotten a call from there before, ever. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. That's what gets me up. And like in the morning, and I jump over, to the computer. I'm like, and then when I get referrals, I'm like, I could say, you know what, I'm not taking on any new clients this month. But I'm like, no, let's get on a call and let's see. I'd say now, I mean, I'm probably now this is January. Now, this isn't new clients I'm talking about. This is just in general, all of my client base, plus what I'm seeing right now as far as the interest in my services. I'm probably looking at 250,000 this year, maybe more, maybe more. But I don't necessarily have to take on all those clients now because I'm at the position where every month I'm getting it's like residual. And I have to do work. Don't get me wrong. It's not like set it and forget it. This is not a magic bullet where you join DoubleStack, you get a couple clients, and then you have to sit back and you don't do anything. I'm working every day, but it's not the type of work that I was doing before, where I was building websites and just like grinding to get clients and then getting like $50 a month recurring for, that's just no way to make, you're never going to be able to grow or sustain that. You're going to grind out. You're going to have to do four or five. Now, today, most people charge $100 a month for hosting, maybe 150 per month, but still, that's nothing. You're going to have to have too many clients. You can't do that. There's no way you're going to be able to get 4 or 5 web design clients per month. The way it is now, unless you're spending a ton on advertising and you're doing some sort of specialty type of, you're building like custom sites that have special code in the background, and you know what I mean. It's not a winning formula anymore. Web design is not dead though, because that's a tool, just like the hammer I was talking about. It's a major tool that we use, but that's not what we sell. We're not, if somebody says like, oh, I already have a website. Awesome. That's awesome. That's the first step. We just have to add more content and code and structure to it. And then that will help move this piece, which helps move this piece. And then it moves the needle for them. So, it's totally it's a totally different experience doing the DoubleStack method than trying to grind with the web design, just the web design stuff.
So how much, if you're making 250,000 per year in revenue, how much of that is like going into your life versus like overhead? Like what do you pay an employees? Do you have employees? How much are you spending on ads? Stuff like that.
I'm not spending any money on ads. The only thing I'm spending money on is like total maybe $1,200 a month. I have no employees, not right now. At some point I might bring on somebody, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'd say the vast majority of it, after what goes to Uncle Sam, stays in my own personal bank account. So
I mean, the profit margins you're talking about are huge, and that's consistent with what I'm doing too. So I'm excited but not surprised to hear that you plan that. Yeah. But I no employees, all the money goes to you, no major expenses. You just no major like office. I know you were thinking about maybe getting an office at some point.
Yeah,
but
I am actually
no office expenses.
Yeah, this month I'm going to do a shared office space, because what I decided to do, and I talked to a couple of my clients, and I said, you know what, I think I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to rank myself on Google Maps.
Yeah, that's
and
awesome.
They're like, oh, that's a good idea. And I was like, you know what, that's just going to be another platform. But in order to do that, I'm following my own rule. I want an address listed on Google Maps, and I'm like 5 miles away from the major town that I want to rank in. So I thought, I can rent a shared office space, and I can, then be able to do a verification there. So I'm going to be doing that actually in the next week or so. So that'll be another way. It might take a little bit longer to rank. I mean, 60 days versus turning on a cold email system, but I'm still doing the same in person. I'm doing. I'm going to up it to about 3 different in-person networking groups per week, and then the cold email and whatever I do with the Google Business Profile, getting leads that way. And then, that's basically that's my system. So it costs very little. It'll be a little bit more expensive with an office, but not super. Not that
for
much.
Up until now, as it stands today, you're making over $200,000 a year, no employees, primarily just working out of your house.
Yes.
With no overhead. So I feel like that's awesome. Okay, well, let's wrap it up with this one last thing, because you posted something in the water cooler. The water cooler is our live support channel, the DoubleStack.
Yeah.
Where we all kind of hang out. You posted something in there right at the end of the year that was so touching to me. It's so great. It's exactly where my heart is too. which
Yeah.
was just to realize the impact that you're having. Can you talk a little bit about the impact you feel like you're having with all of this
Sure.
stuff?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this at the end of the year. I usually get more philosophical, I guess, because I'm looking at like, all right, what are my goals for the following year, and what have I accomplished so far, and did I check everything off my list from last year's to-do list? And I was starting to think like, man, what type of impact did my business have, and what I did have on people, and how many? And I started to think, and I'm like, okay, so you saw those GeoGrids. When you see from red like that to green, that's a life-changing event for a local business because that means the phone is ringing off the hook, right? Which means that he's making a lot more money. And I already know he told me how much he's making. I won't say that here, but it's a ton. This was the local plumber. And I thought, okay, so that really impacts him. But it doesn't just impact him, it impacts his own family, because now he can take them to Disney World, or he can start putting money aside for his kids for a college fund. But it's not just that. It's also his team members. Now I just found out he's just hired 2 new team members. So now it's the team members. Some of them are making more money now because they're taking on more responsibility. He's growing. He's taking on more, right? And now those team members are making more money. So it's their families that are impacted by this. But then it's also his customers. He does a really good job. A lot of my clients do. They wouldn't have found him if it wasn't for what I did. So now they're being impacted as well. And I thought it's like going out into the middle of a lake and dropping a stone, and that ripple effect, it reaches all the way out to the shore. And that's the impact that you're having by learning a system, doing a good job, and then I'm telling you, the clients will come. It doesn't take very many. All you have to do is show some results and people start talking, especially if you're local, because now everybody's like, oh, I heard about this local guy, instead of, oh, I heard about this person over in California and I'm on the East Coast. And people don't talk like that, but they talk about local and the impact that you could have. It's really amazing to think about it. So yeah, that was what I was talking about in the water cooler.
I love that, man. I love that so much. It's so great to be able to, because so many people would say, "Oh, web design is dead. I should go do something else." I was like, "Don't say that. Don't say that. It's such a terrible thing to say." Because because when I hear people say that, it makes me think of 2 major things. The major thing number 1 is somebody's probably sitting there thinking, "Man, I've learned how to do all this stuff, and now it's worthless. I don't, I spent all this time building up these skills. I can't do anything with it." And so now that person's probably feeling sad. And then what that also means is they're not implementing anything for their clients. Like you just said, they're not dropping the stone in the water. They're not having the ripple effect. And like people like these local businesses need folks like us. You know, they need people to help them with stuff. And I think, and I know this is a little bit controversial, but I honestly believe this in the core of my heart, that it's more important now than it has ever been because we have so many more things that we can do. Like back in the past, it's like, well, maybe I'll build a website, I'll give you the site, and then maybe you go do something with it or whatever. But today, we've got this whole system that like turns your map pack green in 45 days, and that impacts all your finances, your family, your teammates, your community. It's like, and because of the massive amount of impact we can have now, I feel like we just have, it's almost like a moral responsibility to serve these people, like to do this stuff. Which is the opposite of, oh, web design is dead or whatever. It's like, it really makes me feel sad, and it hurts in my heart when people say, oh, I don't like what's the point of web design anymore? I was like, it's a huge thing. Don't say that anymore. Come on.
Right.
And I know, and I'm not trying to like, I don't know what the word is, but I'm not trying to like disregard people's frustrated feelings when they go out there and they're trying to make things work and it's just not working like it used to. Because I know it doesn't work like it used to. It's a different approach now. There's a positional shift from, hey, I'm the website guy, to now I'm like running the system and helping you with your marketing. And that's where the results come from. But I love the shift. Like if I could have made the shift happen sooner, I probably even would have, because back in when we were just giving out websites to people, I couldn't see that ripple effect very easily. Whereas now, the ripple effect is like smashing me in the face. It's like, it's so obvious, and I just love it so much.
Yeah. And the thing too is, like, if you think about it, you've been doing web design longer than I have. I started in like 2010, That was even before Google Business Profiles were around. I think that started in 2014. So there weren't a lot of options. There was no AI really, at least not the way it is now. Like there's so many tools, but the problem is it's shiny object syndrome. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube and TikTok and oh, the newest thing. And it's like, oh, maybe that's what I need to get the clients. Let me learn this. And it's like, just like what you said, because a lot of people watching this who are web designers are probably better web designers than you and I.
Yeah,
like
so.
they might be like unbelievable. And I see that sometimes in DoubleStack. I'm like, my gosh, these websites are amazing. But they didn't have the other pieces that made everything work. And so it's an uphill battle. Even if you're the best web designer, you need a system and you need to give people what they really want, which is they need more clients. They need the calls to come in. And obviously, you saw from those GeoGrids, the local authority blueprint, it works. And I'm doing it every day. So
that's I tell you, we'll have to do another video later about this, but you just mentioned like the AI tools and everything. And I do believe that people can benefit from them. But when you got like, at least at where we are today, like January 2026, when you go out and start talking about AI services and automations for things, and especially if it's a brand new person that you're just developing a relationship with, you never worked with them before, there's no way in with that. Like the sequencing is out. You have to start with like a more core offer and then add the more advanced stuff on top. Whereas if you start with the advanced stuff, you never get in the first place. And I think that's another huge frustration people will see, because I know a lot of web designers are like, well, maybe I can't sell websites, but I can do some of the AI stuff. They go out and reach out and ask people, hey, can I do the AI stuff for you? And they're like, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. I don't want any of that. And so it's like a double whammy of sadness where, but it's not really that they don't want it. It's a sequencing issue, not like a relevance issue. And so we'll have to, that's a whole other topic.
That's a whole other video, because I have some strong opinions on that too. And it's just, what it reminds me of is the website stuff 2.0. Like, okay, I can't do this now anymore, even though I have all these skills. So I'm going to learn something else and I'm going to sell. But again, you have to ask, if you just sell a website to a client, is that in and of itself going to move the needle for them? No. Same thing with the AI stuff. If you sell them a tool, that's all it is you're selling. You need to sell them a system that produces results. That's the only way they're going to stay with you, and the way that you can then count on, like every month, I know I'm going to be able to pay all my bills and I'll be fine. I don't have to grind this month. If I wanted to take off and just work with my own clients and not add on anymore, I don't have to worry about it. And I just feel like that grind, I see it so much on social media. And it's usually the people that are selling those courses have never actually sold the stuff. They make their money selling the courses, which is interesting, because you run DoubleStack, but you actually do this. Like, you and your son are actually participating in what we're doing. And I can tell you honestly, I would not be still in DoubleStack if it didn't work. Like, I wouldn't continue to show up every week for a call. Lee can tell you how many times I'm in the water cooler doing 30-minute Loom videos for people, because like, I want everybody to be able to do this. There's so much business for all of us out here. There's no competition. Once you have a system that works, it doesn't matter if somebody in DoubleStack lived right down the street from me. Both of us would be totally fine. I wouldn't be worried at all. So yeah, I think you got to focus, but that's a whole other video, doing the AI stuff. But yeah, you're right. I think this is the local authority blueprint, and there's something special about it. And yeah, I love it.
That was so awesome. So what does this mean for the future? Well, one thing it means is I deleted my agency website. I didn't delete my agency, just my agency website. Check out this next video and you'll see why I'm getting more leads without an agency website. I'll see you right there.